Hi, so today I want to show you some simple basic tricks that you can use on spreadsheets to help you with managing data. So the things I'm going to look at is just a simple formula for how to convert raw data to percentages, how to use a lookup table so that you can maybe convert a raw score or a percentage into a grade, or you can look up one piece of data from one table and another table and combine the two. And the other one is how to use that information that will automatically tell you if a child is above or below target. Okay, so let's get going. So here I've got some raw data. I've got their names, I've got their target grade, I've got their raw score. I want to convert that into a percentage. I want to then use that percentage to give me a grade. I want to know if that's above or below target. And then I've got a second set of assessment data here. So first of all, I want to convert this score into a percentage. Now there's two ways you can do this. I'm going to show you two different ways. So the first way I'm going to show you is converting the score using a percentage. Now here I've put the total up here at the top of how much the test was out of, the assessment was out of. And then I'm going to use a formula here that will divide this number, the raw score, by the total that the test is out of, then times it by 100. So I've put this formula in here, okay? Now the problem is, if I fill this down, what will happen is it will keep moving that top one. So let me show you what happens here. You see, instead of it using the data that's in G1, it's now moved it down to G2 because I pulled it down in G3. So what I need to do is, with our first bit here, is I want to keep it exactly as it is. So I'm going to use the dollar signs. So the dollar signs either side here will always keep that looking at the same square. So when I fill that down, each time it looks up G1. So all I've got here, this is equals for a formula, equals G4, so this cell here, divided by the top cell times 100. So you need to use the star for times, okay? And that will give me my percentage. So that's the first thing I'm showing you. The second thing is how to use a lookup table. So on another sheet, I've got some lookup tables, some grade boundaries. So I've got my raw score in this one, every possible one. Then I have used the formula to work out the percentage, and then I have got my grades here. So this is just what I've decided as the grade boundaries. So this is the first table here. So what you need to do is you need to give the table, or they're called arrays in Excel, a name. So you highlight it, then go to this bit up here and you give it a name. So I'm just going to call it grade 1. It's got to be all one word, and press return, and that will give that whole table a name. Okay, so if I select grade 1, it comes up. So that table there is given a name, that array is given a name. Then go back into my sheet and I'm going to use a lookup table. So equals VLOOKUP, because that's the thing I want to do, a vertical lookup. If your table went across the other way, it would be a horizontal lookup, H lookup. My table goes down, so it's a VLOOKUP. Open brackets, so you use the next bit of data is the data you want to look up. So I want to look up this score, comma, I want to look it up in the table called grade 1, comma, and I want to return the percentage which was in the second column, 2, and I want an exact match, so I'm going to use false, return. So I want the exact match. I want to know how much 3 is a percentage of the total score. So that's an exact match. Again, I can just then pull it down, okay? So why isn't this working? Let's have a little look. So let's break it down. Right, C7, that's my thing. I want to look it up in grade 1, right? And I want to return the second column, and I want it to be the exact data. So why isn't that working? Let's have a little look. Because I've only gone up to 10 and not 15. And now, will this work? No, because my grade 1, is only looking up this part of the table. So what I need to do is I need to change the name of the table. So I need to go into define name. Okay, define name, and I want to change grade 1 to the whole of this. So like that. Grade 1 will become this. So when I click on grade 1 now, it becomes the whole of that table. So if I go back to my data, they've all now got percentages. Now, I was looking at percentages, so I wanted the second column of my grade 1 table. Now I'm going to look at the grade, so I want the third column. So I can use the same formula that I used before. So equals VLOOKUP, because I want, again, it's vertical. Open brackets, I want to look up my raw score, comma, in table grade 1, comma, I want the third column this time, so number 3, and I want the exact data, so I write false, and that will give me my grade. There we go, pull it down. Now, you could use a slightly different lookup table. So this time, instead of having the exact data, I've got an approximate. So between 0 and 10, they're going to get 0 grade. Between 10 and 20, they'll get 1. 10 and 19, 20 to 29, they'll get grade 2. So this time, I want it to not be an exact match. So what I would use is same thing, grade. This time I use true because I want it to be an approximate match, okay? And this time it'll give me an approximate match. So true will give me approximate match if you're using grade boundaries, whereas false, it will give you exactly the data you want to return. So if you want to bring an exact piece of information from one table to another, you can use false. The final bit that I want to show you is this formula here. So this formula here is if I3, which is this data, the target data, is below the grade produced, then I want to return the word below. If it is above, I want to return it above. So here it says if I3 is less than B3, I want you to write the word below. You see how it's in the speech marks. If it's the same, I want it to return the words on target. If it is greater than, I want it to return the word above. Okay, and then I can just put that in and I can copy that formula and put it in here. Now I just need to change it because I don't want it to be for I want it to be for E for this grade here. So for all of these I just need to change it to E. So instead of it being I3, I want it to be E3. Because I want it to look at this grade for this assessment, and there we go. So using lookup tables to return one value from a table from somewhere else in your spreadsheet to a different part of your spreadsheet, using a quick formula to get percentages, and using a formula to identify below and on or above target. Okay, so we've looked at how to use data in an Excel spreadsheet. You could use it in a Google spreadsheet, Google Sheet, exactly the same. There's only one slight difference to what we've been talking about. So I've still got my lookup tables on a separate sheet. I've still got my data using exactly the same formulas that we were using before, so I can fill all those down. And they will work with the exact same sheet as before. That's not working because I didn't put in the dollar signs to keep it at G1. Okay, let's put that and fill that down. The only difference between using a Google Sheet and a spreadsheet for the formulas that we've talked about is when you want to name your table. So when you want to name your table, you there's no bit here to name it. So you go to data, named range, and just the same as before, type in your name there. So Google Sheets work exactly the same as Excel, but they have the abilities to share them so they can be updated live, and they have similar features. You've just got to know the small differences. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. Let me know if I can offer you any more support.